Hello, everyone, and welcome to Jump Up Supercast, the only podcast that is somehow still optimistic about 2020. I'm your host, Muzzy, and joining me today is Brandon.
I'm optimistic because I really think that Rayman is finally going to get melted out of that ice in Super Smash Brothers. I'm feeling it, man.
Gil.
I can't be optimistic if I've never been optimistic, so...
And Zaf.
You know what? Well, we're only in July. I'm sure the rest of the year is going to be fine. It's going to be fine.
This
is fine.
You know, surely by now we've hit the peak, right?
Yeah, surely. Yeah. Right? Guys?
There's only so much...
We're not even halfway through the year. It's been a really shit start. And if I've learned anything...
It's been quite 6 months.
The first half doesn't dictate the full game. And if I've learned anything from Super Bowl 51, it's very true, you know?
I saw you post it on Facebook. You're just reposting your own joke.
Everybody didn't hear my joke, okay? I'm not friends with the whole world on Facebook.
I would have been better off not hearing it at all, so...
Oh, damn.
While we're on this note, we are a video game podcast, but, there are important things to talk about sometimes. And I would say this is one of those weeks. As of this recording, today is June 4th, Thursday. About a week and a half after the murder of George Floyd by the police. And there's a lot that's happened in the country since then. And we just wanted to kind of use this opportunity to, it's sad that it even needs to be said, right? But, obviously, we at the Jump Up Supercast, we do not condone racism at all. We don't. White supremacy needs to be eradicated, and more importantly, we need to talk about these systemic issues that are facing people of color, especially Black communities throughout America and throughout the world, really, which is why you're kind of seeing protests everywhere. Mm-hmm. And so we just want to kind of direct the attention to, we're going to put some links in the description below to kind of give you guys some resources. If you're listening, we would really appreciate, now's the time to do something to hopefully have actual change be made, and you can help even from your own home. And we'll put links in the description below, like I said. But you can sign petitions, you can donate. These are all very important things to do. And heck, if you even want to, you can go protest. It'd be a wonderful thing to do. Yeah, and we just we wholeheartedly support Black Lives Matter, and just wanted to kind of start with that. It's been a rough couple weeks. But these things need to be talked about.
Absolutely. And that was well said. And if you do go out there and protest, stay safe, maybe go with a group, people that, and just really stay safe. But, it's, make your voice heard. It's very important.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But with that said, we're still here to entertain, hopefully. Things are tough, but hopefully we can lighten it a little bit. So let's get started.
Yes.
So believe it or not much news has happened. In fact, we were supposed to talk about a PS5 this week, but again, because of what we just talked about, actually, Sony decided to delay their PS5 event. Obviously for very good reason. Specifically, they said, and I think they put it very well, that hey, this is not a week for celebration, right? But that's okay.
Bandwagon Sony, at it again. Here we go. Copying the world.
Yeah, so the PS5 unveil, it'll come a little bit later. Probably next week, we'll see. Who knows? But that has been delayed for a little bit.
Delayed indefinitely. We don't, like you said, we don't know what day exactly, but it's fine. The PS5 still coming. They, it's not like the delay of the PS5 happened. You know what I mean? So just the news. So
this holiday, but hey, this is not the week to do it, and I think it's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but Sega did announce a new console.
They don't care about Black people. Fucking Sega.
Maybe. Sega announced the Game Gear Micro. And
wow.
Yeah, wow. This is the mini console people were asking for, right?
Oh my god.
Was that really something they're asking for?
The Saturn.
God, even Sega copies Nintendo. They already had the Game Boy Micro, now the Game Gear Micro. Come on.
So this is coming out later this year in October, at least in Japan. I don't know if they announced American details, to be honest with you.
No, they haven't.
Yeah.
I don't know if they will. I really don't.
So let's just start out real quick. I mean, first of all, I think this is a bizarre product, right? Like, I think if we expected any Sega mini system to come next, it would have been like the Dreamcast or even the Saturn, right? Like, those are, people are big fans of those systems.
I would actually want those because I never had a Saturn.
The
That
Game
would be amazing.
Gear, however,
it's just a fucking Genesis or Mega Drive.
But a worse one. Right?
Yeah.
It's worse. It's more like the Master System in terms of power.
Yeah, it's I mean, the Game Gear is not really. I mean, like, some of the best games it has on it are just worse versions of Genesis games.
Yeah, you never hear people really being like, "Yo, this game on like fucking Game Gear is so good." I never hear anybody say that ever.
People don't talk about the Game Gear because it's just like, why? No.
Yeah.
But this is.
It didn't have anything of its own. I feel like at least the Game Boy did. Like Game Boy had like its own identity and like its own games.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had a lot of like crappy ports from like NES or Super NES games that people try to put on Game Boy. But like it also had its own like unique library of games.
Oh, yeah,
and like
Game Boy.
I'm sure Game Gear had a few. And I've played a few Game Gear games, mainly just the Sonic ones that were on like collections and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, you never hear anybody talking about Game Gear.
No.
Like, who the fuck was asking for this?
Like, I genuinely who the fuck was asking for this? Like, seriously. Now
I always get Game Gear and Nomad confused. Like, I know there's two of them, and they're different somehow. I just don't know why.
Nomad is a portable Sega Genesis, which was at the time just really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Although it had its own issues, but like it was also still that was like really cool at the time. Like, holy shit, I can play my Sega Genesis games like on the go. Like that was insane. I wanted one so bad when I was a kid. In fact, I asked Santa for one at Santa's Village, and he said, "What the hell is that?" I mean, he didn't even know what it was. So, I mean, nobody knew what the Sega Nomad was. It just came and went. Sega was a mess in the 90s.
Santa knew
Oh my god.
Not even Santa knew what it was.
That's pretty damning for the Nomad.
Yeah, I did get one years later as an adult, but now it's just a thing that I have just to have.
It's just like a collector's thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Now I do want to talk about some of the oddities of the Game Gear Micro, on top of just being like, why, right? But it gets weirder. So there's 16 games for the Game Gear Micro. Wow, well, that's pretty good, right? At $50
Right.
roughly translated from about 5,000 yen. Well, these 16 games are split into 4 different colors. Each color of the Game Gear Micro, there's black, blue, yellow, and red, comes with 4 games.
This is so bad shit.
We've not really. I don't think we've seen a mini console do this.
Yeah.
No.
200. If you want to have all 16 games, you got to spend $200. Like,
$200 for 16.
what
games.
the hell?
And so the game.
Why?
The black one comes with Sonic the Hedgehog, Puyo Puyo 2, Outrun, and Royal Stone. I would say that's probably the best of these, because then we have the blue one, which comes with Sonic.
Well, hold up. Or one of them has Shining Force, so keep going.
So this one, blue one, has Sonic Chaos, Gunstar Heroes, Sylvan Tale, and Baku Baku Animal.
I feel like that one's probably the best one because it's got
Gunstar Heroes, definitely.
Yeah.
The yellow one has 3 different Shining Force games, and
Hell yeah.
Nazu
Wait, which ones? 1 and 2,
So it
right?
has
1, 2,
Shining
and then
Force Gaiden,
one with a subtitle.
Shining Force: The Sword of Hajia, and Shining Force Gaiden: Final Conflict. And then it has a game that I cannot pronounce, quite frankly. So I'm not even gonna try. And then the last one has Revelations: The Demon's Lair, Megami Tensei Gaiden: Last Bible Special, the GG Shinobi, and Columns. But it gets weirder. This thing, it lives up to the name. It is tiny. this thing has about a 1.15-inch display. If you look at the marketing images, this thing is comically small. I don't know how you're gonna use that D-pad, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Really though,
because like the two buttons are pretty big, so whatever, that's not a problem, right? But the D-pad is, oh man, that thing is tiny. And then
your thumb just covers that whole fucking D-pad. Like it's like 100 times worse than the GameCube D-pad.
Yeah, it's bizarre. And then they have an optional accessory. And so this is there's gonna be a pack, okay? A pack of all 4 consoles that'll be about $250. You're like, what? That's an extra $50. What's going on? It's because it includes the big window accessory. And so what this is, it's like a zoom. It looks like a little mini CRT. And it so I guess it just it's a magnifying glass. It's a magnifying glass. For your Game Gear Micro.
And if you grew up in the 90s and you would know about these things, like Game Boys and handheld systems would famously have these things, like little magnifying glass that clip onto your screen, so it's bigger. But what? I mean, that thing's almost fucking necessary to play this thing, right? Why does this have to exist? Why did they just make the
screen size normal?
How about not make it 1 inch?
I do not understand this product.
Yeah, and then you got these text-heavy RPGs that you're gonna put on this. How are you gonna read that shit?
I like that. So we might have made a mistake type of thing. It's really dumb.
I was actually wrong. The yellow Game Gear with those Shining Force games does not have 1 or 2. So yeah, this sucks. Fuck out of here.
I've never heard of. I don't know how these Game Gear versions of these games are, but considering I don't normally hear people talk about it, I'm gonna assume not great.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just have a normal sized Game Gear with all the games?
I think this is very much you have to be really into Sega to want this.
I think that's it. That's it, right? The only people who are into this are going to be people who
mega hipsters.
Yeah, people who are super obsessed with collecting Sega stuff. Other than that, this is really not for anyone.
So what's that? 3 people?
Honestly, though, right? And this is part of their 60th anniversary celebration, and I think that's so bizarre. Of all the things that you're you know what, we've been around for 60 years. What's the biggest thing we have to celebrate? The Game Gear. What? What?
Weird.
It just feels so fucking bizarre. It's I don't know how they came to that. I don't know how they came to the conclusion that this was a good idea.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't get it. Yeah, it's weird. And then it's just this must just be for the 5 people who are I gotta own anything with the Sega logo.
Maybe they're calendars off and they think it's April Fools or something.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe they'll give the people what they want at some point and give them a Saturn Mini or a Dreamcast Mini.
I mean, if these things were half the price, $25.
Then you could kind of maybe justify the 4 games also, right? All right,
yeah.
All right, sure, whatever.
Yeah, so even $30, but $50.
I would pay $50 with all of the games on it.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Sure.
And a normal size screen.
Yeah, that too.
But no. I mean, which to me makes it feel they know that this is not an optimal way to play games. So this is just a collector's item. But then in that case, why would I want to buy them all for the games if I'm not even going to play it? If it's just being displayed, right? Why do I? What?
Because you have a problem. Yeah, that's the only people who buy things. You have a problem. You need to collect them all.
Gotta catch them all.
I can't really talk on that.
How is your Amiibo collection doing so far?
I got my own problems, so I'm not really gonna give these people shit. But
it's gonna swallow him whole one day.
All the Amiibos. Look, I'm not saying that the people that have the problems are the people with the problem. I'm saying that Sega releasing this is dumb.
Yeah, no, Sega. I don't know. I don't get them. This is the 60th anniversary thing. I don't know.
Yeah, Because I understand collecting things and wanting to have everything. So I understand that. So the people that it's meant for, I pity them because now they're going to be in a position where they have to spend $250 on a stupid product.
Yeah. Well. All right. Well, that's the Game Gear. Thanks, Sega. However, we could not go a podcast without mentioning Ilza's favorite franchise of all time. Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield.
Pokemon!
We got a trailer
catch 'em all.
and a press release and some, updates on the website for the upcoming downloadable content.
The Isle of Armor. I'm excited. Yeah. Because I picked this for Fantasy Critic, and I hope it does well.
So
the first time you've been excited for something Pokemon, and maybe your whole life.
So right away, it's coming out June 17th. The Isle of Armor. Anyway. Right?
That's soon.
Okay. Cool. They said June. They're sticking to June. It's coming in June. We saw what Galarian Slowbro looks like. He's got like he's using the Shelder as a arm cannon.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Right, and he becomes poison.
Poison type now.
Poison and psychic type. The Galarian Slowbro.
Cool guy.
Yeah, it's just cool.
Slowbro. We got to look at G-Max, Venusaur, and Blastoise. We kind of saw artwork of them before, but now we saw them actually.
Good to see them in action.
Yeah. They detailed the new Max Soup item, which lets.
I love this.
Yes. So if a Pokemon has a Gigantamax form, it can drink the soup, and it can now Gigantamax. So that means you no longer have to catch specific Gigantamax versions of these Pokemon.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
that's amazing. That's awesome.
Change because, oh man, hunting for Gigantamax forms in the raids was kind of frustrating.
It was frustrating, especially when you wanted to get like one that could be used competitively, right? And you wanted to like have it
because
the
you can't
best
even
stats
read
possible.
These things before,
right? You couldn't.
It's just like you have to, so like you had to catch one with good IVs and good,
and just have to hope you had to roll the dice each time. Luckily, a lot of times they had good IVs, but also like you weren't even guaranteed you were going to catch them either. On top of that, like I mean, they break out of the ball, they run.
One chance to catch them, right? And if they break out of the ball, you're screwed. Got to go find another one. And it's like
that's rough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so making Gigantamax more accessible is definitely a good thing.
Absolutely.
There's going to be a whole host of new tutor moves in the Isle of Armor.
Exciting too.
We saw Urshifu in action. He's got his own exclusive moves depending on what form you evolve him into. And he also has a Gigantamax form, of course. Mm-hmm. And then there's the Cram-O-Matic, which basically you can feed this little thing. It looks like a Cramorant, and you can feed it 4 items. It'll combine and give you a new item in exchange, including stuff like Pokeballs, PP-ups, etc. So
it's gonna be.
You can recycle your items into better items. What a fun thing!
Get rid of your shitty shit.
So that's kind of all that Isle of Armor is on top of what we already knew, right? Is that like there's a new wild area, right? Called which is the Isle of Armor. That's the area, and there's like a tower you go through with your Kubfu, right? Is it Kubfu? What's his name?
Kubfu, yeah.
It is Kubfu, yeah.
But
it's like a bear cub.
Overall, Isle of Armor, it doesn't seem that big, I would say.
I thought you started this off with optimism. What the fuck?
We'll get to it.
I mean, to be fair, do we know? It's hard to say. Because of the lack of information, it does seem like it's not much. But are they keeping it tight? Are they not letting us know everything?
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I mean, like the base game kept a lot hidden, right?
Yeah.
And then we played the game and was like, oh, there's so much more than they showed us. That could be the case here. I mean, I hope that's the case. Because my biggest disappointment, to be honest, is when we saw Galarian Slowpoke back in January. I was like, oh, they're gonna be adding Galarian forms to these expansions. That's cool, right?
Like a bunch, at least maybe not at least a few more, and maybe we are still getting that. We just don't know.
But seemingly, they've only shown Slowbro so far, so I'm not. And
but I mean,
for Crown Tundra,
they didn't reveal a lot for Sword and Shield though, and that had everybody nervous. Remember, it was the same situation.
Now, they did. That wasn't all to the trailer though. They showed, and I think this is the weird part. I think we even saw more of Crown Tundra than we saw of Isle of Armor.
Yeah, I feel like we did.
Which is weird because Crown Tundra is not coming out for another couple of months, right? This is
or maybe it just left more of an impression.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, there was definitely more to it, right? So first of all, straight up, there's new Pokemon, 2 new Pokemon. They're both Regis, Reggie Alecki and Reggie Drago, electric and dragon types respectively. We kind of saw a look of what the Crown Tundra area looks like. Looks like there's a lot of room to explore. Looks like they kind of blended routes with the wild area concept, right? So unlike in the base game, you actually have trainers ready to battle you in the open area, right? There's dungeons. We saw, there's places, there's like little caves for you to fight the 3 old Reggies: Reggie Ice, Reggie Steel, Reggie Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume there'll be little areas for you to find the 2 new Reggies as well, right?
Yeah.
We gotta look at new Galarian forms, legendary Pokemon as well. Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. We saw a glimpse of them in January as concept art, but we got to see them in game. We know what type they are too now. So, Articuno. So they're all flying type still, but their primary type got changed. Articuno is now a psychic type. Zapdos is now a fighting type, and Moltres is now a dark type. They all have their own new signature moves. They look cool. I like the look of them a lot. The Galarian legendary forms look pretty rad. I'm into it.
They do look really cool. It's got the weakness triangle that everybody's wanted for a starter Pokemon forever, right?
Yeah, we got it. Psychic, fighting, dark.
Congratulations, guys. It's what you wanted.
And then there's a little bit more here also. There's a Galarian Star Tournament. So basically you can do the tournament in the final city of the game. You can now do it like you can pick one of the major NPCs in the story to be your doubles partner to do a doubles tournament against
other this is really cool.
I think that's a very cool addition for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that should be fun.
So you can blow it up with your brother Leon?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Nice.
You and Leon taking on the world.
Taking on the world together. I mean, that's a pretty unbeatable team, I would say. The former champion and the current champion. And I think the biggest part of this, besides like new Pokemon and new stuff like that, is there's these co-op dungeons that you can go through. It's called Dynamax Adventure, and you get to, with your friends, go through these dungeons, find Dynamax Pokemon, including legendary Pokemon that have been found throughout. They showed all the cover legendaries throughout the series history, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So Crown Tundra looks like there's a lot of content in there, and I'm genuinely excited for that.
Yeah, I mean, me too. I'm excited for both, honestly, because I really do feel like we're in for some surprises.
I hope so. I hope you're right. I hope they're like, we're gonna get Isle of Armor, and it's like, whoa, there's. I will say the most disappointing thing about this trailer though was like it just kind of showed what we saw in the concept art at the beginning of the year, just in game.
Yeah.
Right. There wasn't much like new information besides Slowbro.
I think Slowbro really was the only thing, like brand new thing we saw. Well, I guess like the soup and the Cramorant thing.
Yeah,
but but
in terms of
nothing like major,
meaningful new content though, right? Like I feel like because like even the Reggies we saw concept art of in the January Pokemon Direct, right? So like really,
and the legendary birds,
and it was cool. Don't get me wrong, it was cool to see them in game, right? But Yeah, I don't know.
Little cutscene where they're like kind of fighting each other, which was pretty neat.
Yeah.
And I really think this was all. I really kind of think it's on purpose. It's coming soon. Why? Why release it all? Right? I think that was their strategy with Sword and Shield because they just didn't want everything to leak and us to go in because that's what happened with Sun and Moon, right? Where they just told us everything.
Yeah.
And I think they had an opposite strategy this time around, and unfortunately, things got leaked with Sword and Shield still. But
hey, maybe the DLC. I mean, DLC is harder to leak in general, and maybe they're employing that same strategy here. We'll see.
I think they are.
We'll talk all.
Yeah,
about
we don't have to wait long.
New stuff. We will talk about it on this podcast. Don't you worry.
Yeah, we don't have long to wait, so that's good.
June 17th, not too far from now, so about 2 weeks. And that's kind of it for the news. But before we move on to the list, you guys want to talk about some games you've been playing? Who wants to start us off?
Go ahead, Xenoblade boys.
I guess Brandon, Saf, you guys been playing Xenoblade?
Well, I didn't have much of a choice in the option. I am playing Xenoblade. Not that I'm mad about it or anything, but I am.
It sounds like you're mad about it.
I'm not. I am liking it though. I'm glad that I am playing the definitive version here, because it definitely made some good quality of life changes that just make the game more enjoyable. Honestly, overall, I know this is stupid, but I also really like just playing with a normal controller instead of a Wii remote and a nunchuck in hand. Just navigating with the Wii remote sometimes, and especially in RPGs, like I feel like Wii remote games that require you to press like more than just like two buttons, B and A, sometimes get to be a pain in the ass.
Sure.
I hate having to press 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Unless I'm holding it sideways like an NES controller, I do not like having to press 1 and 2. It's too fucking far away.
Yeah.
So like,
did they make you press 1 and 2?
I don't know. I don't even remember.
Well,
I just didn't want to play with the Wii
remote. The D-pad and the A button, which were on the same side of the controller. It was both. They were both on the Wii remote.
Right.
But
what a harsh life you live in.
I mean, how do you? I'm gonna ask Saf some questions about how it's like coming back to it. But you're mostly a newcomer. Yes, you've tried the game before, but this is for the most part you're new to Xenoblade Chronicles. How are you liking it? Just like general impressions.
I mean, I've already gotten way further than I have prior,
Right.
So I am liking it a lot. I'm on chapter 7 right now, and it's fun. I love the story. So far, I just really like it a lot. Characters are great. Voice acting's good. The world, I mean, I already knew this about Xenoblade playing through like a big chunk of 2. That just the world designs in Xenoblade are just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
They make these huge sprawling lands that just look really good. And just one thing that just blows my mind is like this game was on the fucking Wii. Like this is a very ambitious game on the Wii.
Super ambitious game for the Wii. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Would you say it's kind of living up to the expectations that you? I mean, just from this podcast, right? Like it's number what on the list? Like
I'm gonna wait until I beat it to really say.
7?
I don't want to answer.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Saf, you are a Xenoblade expert, I would say. You've put hundreds of hours into this franchise.
Addict seems more appropriate.
Yeah, that might be a better word. You have literally put like a collective, I don't know, almost 1,000 hours maybe into the 3 games.
Has to be over 1,000 by now.
Like if you include X, right, and 2 and 1, I feel like it has to be quite a bit, no?
And you played Torna, right?
I played Torna. Oh yeah, it's definitely over 1,000.
Did you play the 3DS version of Xenoblade?
I did not.
Okay, I was gonna say, well, that's even more.
So as someone who clearly loves this franchise, what is it like playing this definitive edition?
It feels actually really, really good. Like being a fan and jumping back into this game, there has been like some sort of anxiety that I had over jumping back in terms of like oh god, I have to play through not the game itself, but the side quests themselves. Like those are going to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
And also the fact that when it comes to like fighting these enemies or like going through a story mode, you are still going to be going through a story mode, and you're going to be hitting a couple of walls if you haven't been properly leveling up and properly doing side quests and stuff. But with this game, they've added a lot of, as Brandon says, a lot of cute quality of life changes. Like side quests are now tracked, which wasn't done previously. Like,
oh my god, put it above Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, I can't believe that they didn't. I mean, it was awful that they didn't do it before. It makes it so much easier to complete them now.
The changes to the side quests are so, like, I mean, game changing. Especially just like, oh man, like, oh, collect X thing, and then like it just tells you on the map. It just has this giant exclamation point of this is where this is, right? Oh man, just that
people are living in paradise right now.
Instead of having to just randomly collect these little collectibles on the field, hoping it's the thing that you want,
spending
like,
hours randomly looking at fucking blue orbs and just trying to grab them and hoping that it's.
It literally tells you exactly where it is.
Like,
it's just like, this is where it is. Go get it. But I will say that even with that, I mean, that's great. I mean, it makes it way better than it was. But none of the side quests are like engaging. I've found all the side quests to be incredibly boring.
Mm-hmm.
I just do them for the experience points, but it's just that's it.
Right, I get that. I definitely get that. A lot of them are very, kill X amount of enemies. But kill
these enemies. Kill this enemy. Find this thing. That's it.
My rule of thumb, personally, when I played the original game, was to like do the side quests from named NPCs.
Yeah.
Right? Because those just the ones from named NPCs, because it'll tell you like who gives you the quest, right? And a lot of them are just Colony 9 resident or whatever, right? Or soldier or whatever. But like the ones like from NPCs that had actual names, I feel like those tend to have more dialogue, more like little mini stories attached to them.
Yeah, they had their own characters, and
that's usually how it works. Yeah,
a little bit,
and some of the stories that these NPCs had, they like some of them were boring, but others were actually really good, and some added quite a fair amount to the lore of the worlds as well, which was pretty awesome. So like jumping into like side quests, like if you don't like them, I can't really blame you for it. But it's quite a mixed bag. Like it's done by like separate writing team, and they've tried their best. And
at least it's streamlined though now, right? Like, at least it's way
it just you collect the item and then it's like side quest complete. It's not like you don't even have to go turn it in or anything.
Oh my god, you're living in fucking paradise. Jesus Christ. Why are you?
You don't even have to turn it in. You just pick the item up and it's like side quest complete. You kill the bad guy. Side quest complete.
That was in the original game as well. The side quest complete thing.
Oh, was it? Okay. Yeah. It just instantly completes it for you. And you're just like, okay, well, that's good.
That's very nice.
And like even graphically, I think this game looks. First people were like, "Oh, it's like not native resolution or whatever," but I think it looks pretty good.
I mean, you seen those faces in the original game? They look amazing.
That alone is a huge improvement, right? But like, I mean, like, and like the character models, and then combined with like the gameplay additions to this game, even something like auto run. I think auto run is a great feature.
Oh my god, it's awesome. I love it.
Just little stuff like that. I don't ever want to go back to the original. Even on Dolphin, I don't want to do that. Right? Like I cannot imagine playing this game any other way.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if auto run was a thing in the original, but I was like, man, this auto run thing is great. Just sometimes the worlds are so huge, and you're like, okay, I gotta walk there. So this is gonna take me a minute. Now you can just press a button and like fucking
long straight line, right?
Yeah, that's definitely a good thing in MMOs for sure.
Both the visual upgrades and the changes to the music has really freshened up the experience as well.
Like, the remastered soundtrack is pretty good. And it's nice that they let you switch between, right? But I just hearing those tracks that are so familiar to me at this point in a different way, in of itself has been exciting, right? I think that's definitely fun. So overall, yeah, Definitive Edition, pretty good, huh?
One other thing I would mention as well is like if you are a veteran, or if you played this game before, and you want to get a quick refresher of your story, it is pretty easy to do, especially now that they actually have casual mode as well that added on there. Like you can just switch on easy, just experience the story for what it is, just experience the visuals and the music, the fresh to kind of make it feel fresh and beautiful and just great. And
so
then
Zach,
you can jump into the epilogue.
You're not gonna try the new Future Connected until you beat the game again?
Yep, that's the plan.
Did you expect anything else?
Oh, well. Some people just went straight to Future Connected. You know, they were like,
I mean, were those people named Saf?
Well, Ills, you're kind of the odd man out here. What have you been playing since you haven't been playing Xenoblade?
I'm actually not that odd, because I've been playing Xenoblade 2.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. So, this wasn't on purpose. I wasn't waiting for anything. I just decided a while back that I was going to play it in June, and here I am playing it in June. And I'm not that far in. I'm only like 10 hours in, but it's pretty good. You were saying about the resolution, yeah, it's real rough.
Oh,
man, everything looks so jagged.
It's
I'm about to get a paper cut.
That game, especially in handheld mode, is like, oh yikes.
Oh yeah, and I'm only playing a handheld mode, and I'm like, oh man, this is hard.
Yeah, that was one of the few games that I forced myself to play docked, which sucks because in RPGs you want to play. That's the kind of game you want to play handheld, right?
Yeah, I've been playing RPGs in bed for like the whole last month and a half, and this game is really testing my patience with that. But no, it's mostly good so far. I mean, obviously, I don't like the character models because they're weird. And the story's a little bit more jokey than I was maybe looking forward to. But yeah, I mean the combat is improved and it's fucking dope so far. So here we go. I'm only on chapter 3. I think I said that already.
Yeah, it's jarring for me because like I had really got into Xenoblade 2 before 1, and now replaying 1, I'm like, man, they really taking themselves a lot more serious in this game, right? Because like the second game has like just a lot going on in terms of like just silliness, just like anime silliness, you know?
Yeah.
That the first one is really this like, I mean, I don't really want to get into spoilers, but it's just more serious in terms of tone than the second game.
Especially like when you consider like, I feel like the early chapters of Xenoblade 2 are very guilty of that, of just like, oh, Rex, I can't believe you showed up in my bed. I was sleepwalking. Oh. It's like, oh my God.
Freaking, I mean, even the characters, you know, Poppy, you know, and stuff like that. It's just
silly. I mean, you can clearly tell, like, this is not anywhere near as serious as the first game.
I mean, to the point
which, I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be so.
Yeah. But, like, I do think Xenoblade 2 does, like, kind of toe the line of embarrassing, right? Of just, like...
with the fucking character models, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit embarrassing.
Rex and Pyra speak for themselves, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, every time I look at Pyra, I'm just like, why? Just why? I don't get it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, cool. Alright, well, that's kind of what we've been playing. Now we have one more thing to move on to, and that is, of course, the list.
The list!
Now, you could follow along in the paste bin below, because you see the list is a weekly segment we do, where we kind of add a game every week, and we rank it against every other game we've ever added. Last week, we added Origami at 115 for the first time I actually checked beforehand.
Nice,
wow.
Good job.
Progress.
Yeah, Noah gave us that one. And this week, it's Ilse's turn to add.
Oh my God, it's me again. So I don't know if enough people have played this game for me to add it, but I was planning on adding it for a while now, and here we go. I wanted to add Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Do we have enough?
Oh, we do. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, I've played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, but I haven't like beat it. So, but I have played it, so I can talk about it.
Wait, who else has played it?
I've played it.
I
Okay, I guess. Is that fine? Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Sounds good to me.
Well, all right. So, yeah, this is Tony Hawk game. If you don't know who Tony Hawk is, you've been living under a rock. He's a skateboarder. This is a sports skateboarding game where you do a bunch of tricks on a bunch of things and try to rack up as many points as you possibly can. It's a whole lot of fun. It controls very well. The graphics have not aged well. It kind of looks like dog shit if you go back to it right now, but the gameplay is very, very solid. What else is there? Oh, lots of cool stages. There's some cool cameos from like comic book characters, like Spider-Man's in the second game.
Second game.
Is Wolverine in the first game or somebody? Is somebody in the first game?
I don't remember. It's been a long time since I played those games.
Yeah. And also part 2 has a pretty cool create a character mode where you can just take all your favorite specials from special moves that other characters have and put them onto your character. So you could just customize them any way you want, and it's pretty cool to input different grinds or different aerial specials. You just have to like do a little combination. It's pretty dope. I would consider it like one of my favorite fighting games. Not fighting games. Sports. I was thinking combinations of fighting. Sports games probably I've ever played. Probably my favorite.
I think it's my favorite. Like, it's definitely my favorite skating game.
Yeah.
Skateboard game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's this thing, right? We a lot of times we talk about, well, hey, what's most important on the list, right? And more often than not, I would say, we say the gameplay, right?
Yep.
This is pure gameplay here, right? Like, I mean,
yeah.
Hey, it's just really fun to do tricks on your skateboard, like it's just that simple.
Yeah, especially as you get good at it, you can just
fun.
start.
It's easy to play, honestly. I think that's the most important thing. It seems like a lot of games. Sometimes sports games can be daunting. Like they're really there's a lot to learn. But in Tony Hawk, it's very easy to learn, and you can become good at it. Fairly simple. I mean, it's there is more to it. It's not so easy that it's brain dead, but also it's it's fun. It's fun to learn and master.
I think on that specific thing, right? It kind of nails that balance, right? Of just like, hey, you pick up the controller, you can pretty quickly get the hang of things, right? And you're having a good time pretty fast. But like you can feel your skill level grow more and more and more. There's a pretty high ceiling, I would say, right? Of like how far you can go. But immediately right off the bat, you pick up that controller, you're like, oh yeah, I get this, right?
Yeah,
I get
and I think the one thing that's cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is very intuitive. One thing I really like is that the different objectives and the levels kind of like teach you how to play the game more.
Yeah.
So I always thought that was really cool, and just exploring the levels is also fun. And there's lots of little secrets and stuff in all the levels that I think are very cool.
Yeah. For the most part, I mean, I like doing the levels, but the free run, option. After I did all the levels, you just freely choose any level and just go for like 3 minutes, I think it is. Yeah, that was my favorite. Like I would just do that for hours. I love that.
Now, did you know Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, one of the best reviewed games of all time?
I did know that. I think it's like right next to Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. It is.
It's really up there on Metacritic, yeah.
So where are you feeling, Els? Where do you want to put it on the list?
Well, this is hard, actually. This is actually hard. I would put it like... Fuck. I would put it like around Hotline Miami.
What number is that?
47.
That's 47?
47.
Yeah, that's pretty high.
47. Okay.
Now, above or below Hotline Miami?
I would put it above. I would put it above We Love Katamari. Maybe like below Psychonauts. Like just above We Love Katamari.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
I don't hate that either. Personally, I would put Hotline Miami above it, but I'm not gonna like fret over it. You know. That's,
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems like a good spot to me.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think I would put Gears of War above it as well. But I mean, like I said, I don't hate that spot. I mean, I would probably put it above Katamari, but
I mean, I have not played the game directly above or directly below it, so I don't have.
You haven't played Gears of War?
No. Psychonauts We Love Katamari.
Oh.
If we're putting it above Katamari,
Okay.
I haven't played the games surrounding that, so I can't tell you how.
Well, you got Psychonauts to play this year.
True,
So.
I do. I did download it yesterday, actually.
Wow.
Yeah. You downloaded it on Xbox?
But we feel good about this spot? I feel pretty good.
I feel fine about that, yeah.
Okay. All right. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, number 46. Surrounding it, we got Smash Melee, 44. Psychonauts, 45. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, 46. We Love Katamari, 47. Hotline Miami, number 48. Not too shabby. Now, who wants to take us out?
Saf
wants to take us out.
Sure.
And I'm going to do the plugs today, actually. If you stuck around this long, we appreciate it. This was a bit of a loosey-goosey podcast, I would say. Weird week, right? Weird week.
Yeah.
But that said, we appreciate you listening. We appreciate you being here every week. Or even if this is your first time listening, you should know that we are a weekly podcast. Every Monday, you can find us. And we do the game club. Brandon, you guys are playing Rondo of Blood next, I believe, right? Or
we are.
The episode is coming up on Thursday.
It's coming up this Thursday, and if you hear this podcast, the day it's out. So
and it's not as good as Castlevania 4.
Well, we disagree there.
I will agree with that. Spoiler alert, I agree with that.
The Jump Up Supercast Game Club, they get together, they play a game, they talk about it every other Thursday. A lot of fun. And they add that game to the list, so very important for the list as well. So you can find the podcast on anywhere you could pretty much find a podcast. So your iTunes, your, all that kind of stuff. Not on Spotify though. But you can also find us on YouTube. And we have a lot of social media channels. Twitter is very important. Because Twitter, you will know everything that's going on. That's where we post when new episodes go live. That's when we post when we're streaming on twitch.tv/jumpupsupercast. Perhaps that will get used. You'll know for sure if you follow us on Twitter. Also, if you follow us on Twitch, hey, you follow us, hey, you get notifications. Isn't that wonderful? We're also on the Facebook. We're on the Instagram. Just search Jump Up Supercast on all of those platforms, and you should be able to find us. With that said, Saf, take us out.
Yeah. We'll just start off saying it in the beginning of the podcast, and I feel as though it is very important to repeat ourselves. Like, this is a time of huge trouble and concern, and a lot of people are stepping up. And if you do want to step up and try and instigate some sort of change in the system, then feel free to check the links that we'll have in the description to sign petitions, to text or call your local politicians, to donate. It will be very, very helpful, and it will be part of a very, very good campaign. Black Lives Matter.